Hey guys, welcome back to Dirty Water TV. I'm Kayla Harity.
And I'm Mike Baxter. Today we're here with Greg Moon, the Assistant Vice President at Harpoon Brewery. We know that there's a lot of history here at the Baseball Tavern, but there's also a lot of new history with Harpoon.
Absolutely. Baseball Tavern, 53 years old. Harpoon Brewery, 29 years old. We started back when nobody knew what craft beer was. They called it microbreweries. I started in 1994, so I've been there 21 years, and it's been quite a ride. I mean, I remember when the brewery was really tiny, and our barrels were the round kind of barrels with the screw tops, and now our brewery is grown leaps and bounds, and we've got new shiny kegs. Just trying to explain to people, well, what is this? I got Budweiser, I got Miller, I got Coors. I don't need any other beers. Well, no, try this. It's brewed locally. It's got more flavor. It's different. And slowly but surely, we were one of the pioneers, and we've been right here in Boston for 29 years.
I'll tell you, it's definitely a staple. When you order an IPA in Boston, you order a Harpoon IPA.
Yeah, and that's our flagship. And when I started in '94. It was a summer seasonal.
We decided to come up with an IPA as our summer beer. As part of that, we didn't quite know what ingredients we wanted to use. The head brewer at the time decided, you know what, I'm going to give everybody some pale malt to take home, and those roasted malts that we roasted in all of our ovens around the Boston area were basically the first and few test batches for the Harpoon IPA.
So in '93 they introduced it as summer seasonal. '94 it was still a summer seasonal. And everyone was like, we love this. We're like, okay, well, let's just make it year-round. Give the people what they want. And as soon as we made it year-round, I remember selling beer on Boylston Street, and every chef in every restaurant was just like, you have the IPA? That's what we want. And all of a sudden, everyone was turning handles into IPA handles. At the time, it was like, what's an India Pale Ale? Like, nobody even knew what the style was. And to this day, I believe we're the longest continually produced IPA in the country. We weren't the first, but the ones that predated us are not being made anymore. There's a couple West Coast guys that made IPAs, that was it. And now IPA's the thing. So we feel like we birthed a whole craft style to the world, which is kind of a neat thing.
Let's just talk about all of the different types because I want to try them all.
Yes, if you start at the highest, biggest, craziest IPA down, so we have Leviathan IPA. It's tons of these juicy West Coast hops, 10% ABV. Be careful, it's dangerously drinkable. Then
I'm ready for one of those.
Right. Then you step down, we make a rye IPA. Rye actually gives it more of a kind of like our UFO brands that use a lot of wheat. So the rye gives it this bready quality, and then we punish that with this Falconer's Flight blend of hops. It's kind of like our West Coast IPA. Rich and Dance Rye IPA, that's 6.9 ABV. Then you step back down to the original IPA, 5.9, incredibly drinkable, full-bodied. It's got malt, it's got yeast, it's got hops, it's got all three things sort of all combined into a wonderful flavor. It's not a hop bomb, and it's not weak on the malt side, so you get a little bit of that roasted malt. And then we make a white IPA in the spring, which is like, it's not just UFO White and IPA combined, it's actually its own recipe. It uses coriander and orange zest and citra hops, and it's a beautiful beer. That comes out late winter, early spring. And then we just introduced this year a beer called Take 5. Remember that, Take 5.
Easy to remember.
Take 5. Why are you gonna take 5?
Take 5.
I'm gonna take 5 to drink this beer. First of all, it was the 5th batch. We were doing test batches of it. And it was not good. Hey, this one tastes good. Work on that. And so we actually put it in the beer hall as Take 5, and people loved it. It's a session IPA. And the reason it's difficult is because we're making a beer that's 4.3 ABV. Bud Light is 4.2. So you're making a very, very light beer here, but it's got all the hops and the flavor of a craft beer and an IPA. That's difficult. That's finesse. That takes a lot of brewing savvy. And they nailed the recipe, and we released it as Take 5.
I love the flavor. It feels light. I still feel energized. It's not dragging me down. It's making me feel fueled and ready to go again.
Harpoon likes to give back. Let's hear about Harpoon Helps.
It's our charity part of the brewery. It's run by Merrill Allen. One of the things about Harpoon is what can we support in the community that ties us together? And charities are one great example to do that. And we picked some great ones. The Pan Mass Challenge, to raise money for Dana-Farber, and we've been the beer sponsor of that forever. We poured 160 kegs. They're all donated to the riders. We actually brewed a beer that all the proceeds from the beer went to Dana-Farber. That's just the tip of the iceberg. We have a 5-miler race in the summertime where you start at the brewery and you run around Castle Island and you come back to the brewery. That race sells out really early. We just this year crested $1 million raised for ALS over the course of that event. We're a 200,000 plus barrel brewery. We only employ about 200 people, and we're raising that kind of money for charity. That to me is very impressive. I do have a big sense of pride for that, just working for that company.
I heard that Harpoon is employee owned.
These are my fellow owners of Harpoon Brewery. Rob and Kevin and Matt and Dave, they all work for the company, so they're employees, and they're all owners. They all have shares in the company. And what's really cool about that, is you think about like the whole 1%, and everybody's working for somebody, working for an owner. The owners are just sitting on piles of money. We're working for ourselves. That's a big win for the little guy in my book. You want to know who makes your beer? We make your beer. Who delivers your beer? We deliver your beer. And we own the company, and we're going to do right by you, Love beer, love life.
It's time to cheers to you, Greg. Thanks
Cheers.
for joining us tonight.
Greg, thank you so much.
I'm
welcome
spilling
so much.
as I'm spilling on you.
That's okay. It's not the first time beer's been spilled on me, and it won't be the last.